How I do anything is how I do everything. The foundation of my life, my success, my relationships, my body, my physicality, obviously, my spirituality, all that stuff, and especially my business comes down to my level of honesty I can have myself.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
This is going to be kind of cool in a way. It's going to build what we talked about. It's about sales. It's really about, I call it success matrix in a way, or it could also be the success algorithm, or ways or keys to be able to dominate. So if I want to win at Google, they have an algorithm to do what? Refine searches, and the more you master the algorithm, the more you do what? Show up at the top. The more you show up at the top, the more people see, the more people are going to buy. It's like literally, no one ever goes past the second page of Google, right? Unless you're looking for some weird. So the reality is, you can't. So it's just like life. If you're not to that top part, you're not winning the algorithm. Okay, and so I try to figure out how to make this, make sense for a lot of people, and it's going to come down to kind of this triangle here of how it works, but there's also this multiplier. I spent a lot of time on this. I created this based on what I feel our needs are and things that we see a lot. Okay, and there's this triangle here that helps bring this algorithm to life, that helps us really, how do I dominate in sales, in independent sales, meaning that I'm here for my own, I win or lose based on how I show up, and really how do I win in business, any piece. Okay, and the first piece that's important, and we talk about this a lot, through the code, things like that. The first piece you have to have here is honesty. This is about a salesperson, and specifically you and your own results. Right? Why do you think that matters? Why does honesty matter? Why would that be one of the key points of the success algorithm? Right? You got to be true to yourself to have any level of results. Why? My level of honesty determines my level of standards. I'll say it again. My level of honesty determines my level of standards. It's very important. And we talk without that. That's one of the first things we talk about in the code where it talks about, right? SFL, right? Stop lying, because it comes down to the result standpoint, because if I let myself off the hook and I tell myself lies, guess what? I never have a true foundation of truth to build anything on. So I'm always building in quicksand. Very important to understand that piece. Right? Second piece here is optics. What do you think that means? Optics. What does that matter? This is the measurement. Anybody that has a high level of success has to have optics. Meaning what? Am I winning or am I losing? Why is that?
So you make adjustments?
Yep. Also, it allows me to push harder at certain times. Or realize that I need to make adjustments. But a lot of people don't do that. I've noticed this. And this is, again, the housekeeping thing is separate from this. This is important. This is something I've thought about over the past week separately. And the fourth piece here is third piece here is follow through. Do I say I'm going to do? Very important in that piece. So, first thing about honesty, I'm going to talk about and teach on this. I want you guys to write this down. This says, number one, DITT. Do I tell the truth? What do you think this means? This is in a sales environment. So, this is the piece right here. Am I honest with myself? Am I honest with myself? You know I hear this a lot?
Yeah.
Where else do you hear this at?
I feel like I'm doing this.
I've done everything.
Feels the word.
I've done absolutely everything. Right? But ultimately, here's a lot of people that, you get people that are really overweight, they tell you they've done absolutely everything. But how do you know that they haven't done everything? Because you're overweight. Right? Period. And so, in their mind they have, but the reason is they're not honest with themselves about the truth and facts. And so this is the ability of, am I honest with myself? Same thing here. Do I tell the truth? This could always be a lead source. Do I just make some shit up? Right? When I'm at the last minute, I want to get paid? Or do I tell the truth and actually find it at my level of honesty in the front end? Right? It goes in that piece. But I want you guys to take this in yourself, because here's the problem. Most people can't tell themselves the truth. Why? Because we're conditioned, right? And trained and taught to lie. We talked about it over and over and over to fit in our entire lives. And so the secret weapon, though, is having that ability to live by the code, which is really here, that level of honesty. The next part, which goes together with this, is WLDITT. What do you think that is? WLDITT. What level do I tell the truth? What I realize is there's levels to this. What do you think that means? Like, there's so many levels to that. What do you think? I watch it all the time, brand new people come in. So there's a convenient lies, and here's the thing. You can start out by, you can call other people out on their stuff. Then you can really start to call yourself out. But there's all these things that you've been telling yourself forever that aren't true, that we've got to get to a deeper level of what level, how deep am I able to go? Well, tell myself the truth. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. You ever watch brand new people come in here? If anybody's been here for a while, you watch brand new people come in, and we talk about in the morning is, what do we talk about in the huddle? What else we talk about?
What happened yesterday?
A positive focus from the day before. What do new people do? They tell a positive and a negative every time. Well, I had a bad day yesterday, but I did this. Or I had this, but yeah, I had this other thing happen. Have you guys notice it? Why? They don't know any better. Do they even know they're doing it? No. And so it's an unconscious habit, unconscious pattern, and we've got to figure out what level can I get to telling myself the truth. To the realest, rawest level of being able to do what? Do I call myself out? Tell you, it's the most freeing thing I've ever been able to do. And I still battle it all myself, right? We have stories that we use stories to justify what we're doing, so that we don't really need to call ourselves out because we feel like it's justified. This happens all the time. This happens to me sometimes with measuring core 4. I got all this stuff going on. I'm like, well, I didn't really measure it. It's okay because I got this going on or that going on, or I was out of town. And all of a sudden, I feel myself justifying, but I'm not truly calling myself out in that scenario. And once again, there's also levels to this. And this is all related to what? This is really related to doing what? Doing the work. Okay? Did I actually do what I said I was going to do? Did I make the dials? If I made the dials, did I make real dials? Like, there's a difference between, okay, I made my 50 dials and I just buzzed through it. But did I do it just to get the dials, or did I do it to actually get results on the back end? I mean, I'm just observing for years of watching people, and that's why I kind of drew it up this way. And it starts with this foundation because it's the most important pillar, because you are made or broken based on what you do and no one's watching. Okay? That's why you watch these big sales companies they have sales for. They track everything. Track the damn heart rate. All kinds of, right? Because they're just turning them into machines. But I'd like to teach you guys how to have the skill set to do it yourself. Okay? And this is all a learned skill set right here. But what you notice is the more you do this and the better you get at it, the more you see everyone else around you is full of shit, and they believe their own. Right? And so I have to be very, very good at this. And the last one is, do I give others open permission to call me out? Do I give others permission to call me out? I'd say open. Most people get called out and doing something, then what do they get? They get triggered, they get angry, they get defensive. Why? Because there's this thing involved that's very powerful. What is it? Ego. It's an ego. And so the bigger the ego, the more they get triggered. I've watched it in Warrior for years. But the minute that they let go of the ego and they allow that, what happens? What do they find? Freedom. There's a freedom and a truth in that understanding of like, okay. And then it takes a little while and you got to eat that. First one gets eaten pretty good. That's one of the things that I told Kaylee when we first met. Is like, hey, look, there's times I'm going to be an asshole or certain things, but you got permission to call me out. And she does. And I don't love it, but it makes you laugh. Now I'm like, all right, because I gave that permission, and at the same time, she doesn't feel scared to tell me that she needs to tell me. And so many of us around us, we don't give them permission to actually say that they know. And a lot of times we're lying, guess what? People around us know, in that scenario, which is very important to understand. Like, look, am I having that full honesty? Well, I'll tell my wife or husband or my kids about what I do at work. And we talk about a lot of people go to work for 6 hours and don't really do but 30 minutes worth of work. So that's another level of like, hey, what level am I having my honesty at? Or am I going on to work all day just avoiding the work? Did I tell myself I worked a full day and then, basically leave at 3:30 and figure like, oh, that's a full day, and I really put it all in today. I put it all in today. Especially brand new people. It's what we watch happen. Brand new people don't understand. That's why I'm teaching this. They come in, they're brand new. They work till 2:30, 3 o'clock. They feel this space, not sure what to do next. What do? They jet. Right? And this is separate if you got to pick up kids or something. That's totally different. But I'm just talking about seeing this in years of stuff. Right? There's a level of holding myself to this accountability and honesty that has to be at a very, very high level. And the higher my level of honesty is, guess what? The higher my money is. I'm going to relate this honesty thing is also a level to your standard. The level of my standards, the level of my honesty, they're both the same way. So if I make this small bullshit lie on a lead source, what does that tell me? Everything else is a lie. I watch this happen all the time. I told Brandon about this. You watch people in the gym. I think Garrett taught me this. There's this thing called rep integrity. If you watch people in there, what do? 5, 6, they just make the shit up, and it just shows me they're a liar the rest of their life. I learned that. And here's the thing that's so important. You watch people who do that, they say 10, they do 10. But a lot of people don't. There's one person in there who does real estate who always doesn't do that. Always be cutting stuff in half, doing these numbers that are not good numbers, and all of a sudden, you see things, and a lot of times they make a claim about what they do, look it up, it's not even the same number. Right? So it's important to just understand, like, look, how I do anything is how I do everything. The foundation of my life, my success, my relationships, my body, my physicality, obviously, my spirituality, all that stuff, and especially my business comes down to my level of honesty I can have myself. Optics piece. Number 1, do I take time to set clear targets? Do I take time, the word time is specific in here on purpose, do I take time to actually plan out my clear targets when? Daily, weekly, monthly, and then quarterly, which is 90-day goals. But when I have this, I think the biggest point of leverage for anyone is when? Daily. Do I measure my progress daily? Do I measure my progress daily? My progress is towards what? So this is to big and small. So this is short and long. Do I measure my progress daily, both short and long? So I have my daily targets, which is to do what? X, Y, Z today. 100, 200 dials, whatever, make this offer, the home inspection, whatever the stuff is. Then I also got what?
Weekly target.
My long-term goals, right? Which is important here. Okay, and I have to use that to do what? Measures me to do I take the extra action or not? So if I knock a few things out, but I'm not really measuring that versus my long-term, I'm not seeing progress, and all of a sudden it's very, very difficult for me in some cases. And the second one, I got these two mixed up. But the next one here, in this scenario, it's important, is do I look at my targets daily? So obviously I want to look at these. These are switched around. So this is, do I look at my targets daily? Why do you think I put that in there? Do I look at my targets daily? It's the number one reason why people don't hit right here. They write it down, they put it in there. I've done it before. I've done it before. I've gotten to California one time, a couple times, I'm like, I don't even know what I'd had for my one goal in my one place. And what does that mean? I didn't look at it daily. What's Grant Cardone talk about? Write him every morning. Last time I checked, he's a billionaire. All right, so the key here is, do I look at him every day? And do I measure? Because there's a big difference between looking at him and measuring. Because a lot of people don't like to measure. Right? If I'm not eating good, what's the last thing I want to do? Even deeper, even simpler. Get on the scale. Right? So then we avoid measuring, and so we never get a change. But if I just have the guts to measure and get on the scale, what am I going to start doing? Eating better, hold myself accountable. Why? Because I looked at the true results. That's why the optics matter. If you want to have just lose weight, force yourself to get on the scale every single day. And there's a lot of people who are same exact place or less than they were last year. Same exact place or less. I watch it every week. And that's why some of y'all, if I reach out to you, that might be why. But there's same people that are the same or less, and guess what? They don't know. They're trying to tell me things are great. So the key part is, hey, look, how do I have the ability to know? And here's the thing, like I mentioned, the only thing worse than losing is really kind of winning and not knowing you're winning. Because why? You burn out very easily that way. And so the key there is traction. There's a big aha for me to understand, like, look, they don't even know what they're doing here. Some of you guys are really good at this, some of you guys aren't. It's okay, but I'm just trying to help you get to that next level of success. This is all relative based on where each person is, including myself. Any agent anywhere is somewhere on this scale, and you can always go higher. Okay? Last piece here. Do I ask myself why? Do I ask myself why? Now, this is important. Why do you think that is? I see this all the time. People say, man, I'm doing absolutely everything. Everything I can. And so it's not until you get to the place of inquiry you're ever going to be able to realize the truth about what's going on. About why you're not where you're at. About why you're. And here's the thing. If I'm asking myself this question without the honesty, am I going to get the true answer? No. That's why that's number one. Okay, I'm helping you guys build a mindset here that's going to help get to that framework. Do I ask myself why? You got to have the guts to ask myself why. What's the real true reason? What am I not doing that other person is doing? The same person, hey, been there for a while, doing a few things, they can't figure it out. Why the new person, they haven't really asked why. Why is the new person selling a hell of a lot more than them in that short period of time? Does that make sense? And so it's important for us to understand that, what we're doing there. All this is built on the result I want to actually have. Okay? I can't make you do those things that you don't want to have at that certain level. Last piece here, third piece here, is follow through. This is a big important right here. The actions greater than words. I want to be in a place where I live, where all my actions are bigger than words. You know, a lot of people that do what? They talk and they say they do it, and what happens? They don't do it, nothing changes. And so if you want to get to this place, you've got to be obsessed with follow through, and my actions are always going to outweigh my words. I initially had actions equal words, but I realized and started thinking about it, no, they've got to outweigh your words. Why? Because you have to make sure that you live by this mindset or framework that they're always going to outdo my words, which is very, very important. Second piece of my follow through. I'm asking myself this question, do I? Or do, right? This last piece, the second piece here, do I do the work, DTW, required? Again, I'm giving you guys a framework to teach you here. Do I do the work required? What do you think that means? Do I do the work required for the result I say I want? Do I actually do the work required for the result I say I want? I watch brand new people come in all the time. They want to be successful. They even write it to a thing for Alex, right? They want to be successful. Here's the reason why. Because the reason Alex came up with this great idea, we're going to make them journal it and put in there why they want to be successful. There's a difference between doing the work. The reason I put this here, can you share this? There's a difference between doing the work, right? And we've been saying that for years to Warrior, and all of a sudden everybody started saying it. But the key lesson here is, do I do the work required for the result I say I want? And this is a tool to ask yourself and hold yourself accountable here. And so as I'm going through daily, I'm asking myself, hey, am I actually doing the work required for what I say I want? Because we tell people, and here's the thing, we tell so many people so many times, what happens? I tell so many people so many times what I want, what I'm doing, what's going on, and then what happens? I believe it. But I don't actually do the work required. Deep down I know I'm not, but I don't take time to get inquisitive and actually start asking myself those things. Same thing in every part of your life. Relationships, diet. I do the same thing with diet all the time. That's what I script the most. Next one, do I go the extra mile? What is the example of going the extra mile? Perfect example would be calling my client to explain the contract I just sent them. Right? Perfect example would be, hey, let me ask you this. How did you find out about us? Right? But importantly, it happens over and over and over in this. Where does somewhere you go that they get the extra mile?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. That's the example I thought of too. I know you guys think the same one. How does it feel when you go to Chick-fil-A? Feels amazing, right? You get how many, blessed days? And have a blessed, they say have a blessed day, right? My pleasure, that's it. They say my pleasure. You get 16 my pleasure by the time you get to the drive-thru. Right? How does that feel?
Awesome.
Feels pretty good. Are they going the extra mile? Now you go to Burger King, what do you get? An FU, right? That's about it.
Better in my chicken.
So the difference of what? It has to be the experience of the client, but also you. Which company do you think's seen more growth lately? Chick-fil-A everywhere. You're watching Burger Kings die and Chick-fil-A's thrive. Everywhere. They're building them everywhere. Right? And so ask myself, am I actually going the extra mile to my clients? Am I going the extra mile with everybody? Okay, and last piece here. Do I live the standard? Do I actually live the standard? What do you think that means here? Am I living the standard that I say I want to have? Here's a crazy one that I thought about this morning that was important. Do I live the standard I tell my spouse and my kids I'm actually doing? If I leave my kids and my spouse all day, go do some work, am I actually living the standard that I'm telling them I'm doing? Am I just going home and pretend I did some work? Big difference there, right? So am I actually living the standard that I tell those around me that I want to have? Very important. So this triangle, right, of the success algorithm is a multiplier. There's a multiplier to it. What do you think the multiplier is? The multiplier here is one thing. The hunger. Hunger. This is the intangible that I can't teach you guys. You multiply, and here's the thing. The hungriest people have the highest success, both short and long term. So the multiplier here on this algorithm, the honesty, optics, and the follow-through, multiplied by the level of hunger is what's going to determine their ultimate success. Period.